Thank you for watching this tutorial. We're going to analyze turnover information. In this section, we're going to start with descriptive statistics, and we're going to use Excel for this purpose. Here is the information provided by the company. The variables in white are the information that they provided. It's typical information you can find in an attrition database, the hire date, the term date, and the reason why the person left. I also calculated how many days, months, and weeks the person was in the company. I did that using the formula dated if. You only have to type dated if, then open parentheses, then hire date, comma, reference the term date, comma, and then between quotations, the format you want the information in. I typed M to get how many months the person was there. I also calculated how many weeks the person was employed, and I included this variable involuntary voluntary. I classified uh, I classified it based on the reason that was provided by the company. And I also created this variable to filter who we're going to consider and who we're not going to consider for this analysis. We're not going to consider people who were transferred or people who were temporary positions or people who we don't have the information from. And we're going to use as well the turnover month. This is really easy to get. You just type in equal, then text, and open parentheses, then you reference the term date, and then between quotations the format you want the month to be displayed. I typed in 4 times the letter M so we can have the full name of the month the person left. Now we copy and paste this same formula in all our data. Now we're going to create a pivot table. It's for me the easiest way to analyze this information. And so you go to insert and then pivot table. Make sure you include all the data and also the rows that don't have any information in case you need to add information at the bottom, and then you just refresh your pivot tables and you don't need to create new pivot tables. So we created it in a new spreadsheet, and we're going to use as filter the variable we mentioned to be considered, yes or no. We're going to consider the ones that we said we will. Then turnover month in the rows, so we have all the months of the year. And then as a counter, we're going to use the variable hire date or term date. And you have the frequency of how many people left in every month. Let's just change the format and make it look pretty. And so here we have how many people left in every month. This is to answer when people are leaving. An easy way to identify trends here is to use the color formatting or conditional formatting, and we're going to use the color scale, um, maybe a red one, to highlight the numbers that have a higher frequency. Um, Make sure you don't include a total so the total doesn't take into account. And then you have it. Now you know that a lot of people left in May and in August as well. But attrition is relative to how many people were hired or the headcount during that month. That's why we're going to get the headcount information that was also provided by the company. And I'm going to get it from the headcount tab using a VLOOKUP formula. If you don't know how to use VLOOKUP, just search it in Google and you can find really good tutorials on how to use it. We're going to do it somewhat fast here to take advantage of the time. And now you have the headcount for every month. Now you can see that in May, June, July, and August we had the most headcount. So this is most likely a seasonal position. So we're going to get the turnover rate. There are a lot of formulas to calculate the turnover rate, but to simplify it here, we're just going to divide how many people left divided by the head count, and we're going to get the turnover rate. I'm going to add as well the average of people, of monthly staff people, and we get an average of 278 to get the annual turnover rate. So here you have it, 247% attrition in a year. That's really, really bad. But we want to know what months or which months were the worst for this company. So if you use the color scale again, you can see that April was the worst month, and also August was really bad. August and September. So here you have the most basic information, when people are leaving and how is it behaving based on the headcount we have every month, and we get a turnover rate, monthly turnover rate and a yearly turnover rate. And so now let's try to create a graphic. Well, I'm using a combination of a pivot table and data we gather from we calculated. So I'm going to reference the information in the pivot table. As I was mentioning, this answers the question what's happening, or maybe not what's happening yet, but when it's happening, if it's seasonal or not. We know now that it is a seasonal phenomenon. We do have more people during the summer, and most likely that's one of the reasons why people are living in the summer, but we need to dive deeper into the data to answer those questions. So let's copy this format, and let's hide this duplicated data so it looks nicer. Okay, so now I select the whole table and create a chart. Let's create a column chart. And since the turnover rate is in a different measurement, it's in percentages rather than units, we're going to create a combo chart. In order to do that, you have to go to Chart Tools, Design, and then change chart type, and then select the combo. Now, turnover rate, it's line, it identified that it's different, and we click in secondary axis so we can have it, so we can have a relative graphic. We're going to take out the grand total as well, and let's change the title for future reference. As we already knew, August, April, September are the months with highest attrition. Now let's copy this pivot table and continue analyzing. We're going to analyze now the reasons why people left. So we take out months and we put reasons in the rows. And now I want to know as well, what was the average of weeks that the people were there for any given reason, and also to get the total. So you right click on the column that contains that and select average or mean. Let's sort it by frequency. And so now we have that no call, no show to training. That's the highest turnover reason, and the average weeks the people were employed, it was 0 because they didn't even started the training. Let's get some other statistics as well. Let's get the standard deviation. You right click, then summarize values by other, and then standard deviation. Now you have the standard deviation. At the bottom, you have an error because there was only one person for those reasons. That's why it's not showing anything. So let's reduce the amount of decimals we get. And so we now know that the average time the people last in the company is about 11 weeks, and with a standard deviation of 20 weeks. Let's get also the minimum and the maximum. So the minimum, it's a range from 0 weeks to 167 weeks. And you can have the information by reason as well. So now let's create another pivot table as well. And we're gonna now analyze the top reasons by month, because we already know that this is a seasonal phenomenon. So now we want to know what are the top reasons by any given month. Now let's filter the top reasons. So you make sure first you're under the reasons, and you go to the filter and then the top three. So these are the top 3 reasons for the top 3 months as well. Let's take out that format, and let's unfilter the month. So now you have the top 3 reasons by any given month. So we know that in January it's quit during training, February job abandonment, March no call no show to training, April no show no call to training. It seems to follow a pattern, but now in August you see that it's because of school. So people are starting college in the fall, so you see that in August and September. That's the main driver during those months. So now we have answered when does it happen, what are the top reasons, and now we need to get more information in order to have a deeper understanding of this phenomenon. So now let's copy and paste and create a new pivot table. We're going to analyze how if people left voluntarily or involuntarily. So we add that variable into the columns, and now we know how many people left involuntarily or voluntarily. And most of them left voluntarily. And we know that that's preventable. So there you have all the information when people are leaving, and also why people are leaving. We're going to highlight the top reasons. Let's highlight the top 4 reasons that are, if we act upon those reasons, we will have the biggest impact. So the first one, no call, no show to training, that's most likely a recruiting problem. Job abandonment, higher paying job, and school. So that's the end of this section. In the next section, we are going to get some more data and try to figure out what's happening with the attrition in this particular organization. Thank you for watching.